Welcome to the dark. It's About Time is now in full loom effect. Welcome to a special episode on Loom. You guys know me. Of course you know Drew's Quorum. And that is...
I am Drew.
Well, I'm going to continue to hold this one up. Welcome to a very special episode. We're actually today here, we're going to swap watches. We're going to continue to hold up the watches that we have just to demonstrate what kind of watches we have and things like that.
As Jared said, welcome to another episode of It's About Time.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And today's episode is on Illumination.
They can't see us now, but...
No, they cannot see us right now, but this is proving my point. So we're going to go a little thing on what's on the wrist. And what's on my wrist is actually lighting up your screen right now. It is the Quorum Admirals Edition. I was wearing this a couple weeks ago for you on a couple episodes, and I'm still wearing it now. Great little timepiece. It lights up. It is full of super luminova. We're going to get into different types of luminescence in just a bit, but that is what's on my wrist. Jared, what do you have on yours today?
Well, I will have to shine the light on it because there is no loom, unfortunately. It is my handy-dandy Orient Monarch favorite watch. You guys can probably tell there's a little bit of difference, though. I put a custom Pilot stainless steel band on it. Still love it. Still running great. Love the eggshell dial and the Breguet blue hands. But before we go any further, allow me to continue to show you the loom, because that's how we're going today.
That's exactly what we're doing today. Today is all about loom, so which means loom stands for luminescence, which also stands for glow in the dark, as people know it by. What's interesting about loom is there are two different types of loom out there in this day and age.
This one's not as strong. That one's a lot stronger.
Right, this one is a lot stronger. All you got to do is light it up a little bit, and then all of a sudden, boom. So, the different types of illumination that are available in today's day and age for watches are, like I just told you, super luminova. And what is the second one, Jared?
Tritium tubes?
It is tritium tubes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there are two different types of luminova.
Well, there's also regular luminova as well. It's not just super luminova.
They've really pretty much combined into one, but those are the two different types that you have.
Well, I'll give you guys a good example. That is super luminova.
This is regular luminova. Now this luminova can be both expensive and inexpensive. This is a perfect example of a dollar watch. Okay, this is something you would get at Walmart, and when you stick the light to it, it will light up for about
but not as
15 seconds, 20 seconds,
a minute max,
and then it fades out. Okay. Other brands like Quorum, which is my Admiral's Cup here, this would stay lit, and depending how long you had the light on it for hours. Okay, because there is a lot more luminova.
And Oris is also known for it.
Oris is great for it. There's other watches that
certain types,
but that's again that's a tritium tube type piece. But you got.
I gotta tell you, I think we look really cool in the dark with these lights on.
We should try this again.
All right.
Seiko is known for that as well. Timex is actually pretty good.
Wait a minute, what do you think is better, us in our bathrobes or us with the lights on us?
I think we'll let the viewers decide based on the likes. But outside of that, let's go to the history of loom for a little bit. Okay, luminescence actually came...
This one's out of loom, so
yeah,
it's going over there.
Luminescence actually came into play. There you go.
I'm going to keep holding it up and stuff. Actually, I'm going to hold it up for the rest of the duration of the episode so you guys can really see how long this is going to go for.
Yeah. Luminescence came into play in the early 1900s, around World War I. What they did, even before the atom bomb was dropped in the 1940s, okay, at the end of World War II, World War I really brought the luminescence fascination into the watch industry. A company by the name of Ingersoll, which is a U.S. brand, okay, got bought out several times, is now a part of what you now know today as the Timex Corporation.
Oh, we love Timex.
We do indeed. If you can sense the sarcasm there. But Ingersoll, a good brand, did fool around with it back in 1914. And they had what was called radium dials. So what they would actually do, radium, as you know...
That's not radioactive at all, right?
Oh, no, not at all.
I don't think so.
Radium didn't come from the word radiation.
No.
They didn't know this back then. So what they decided to do was they put radium... Actually, because things were handmade back then. Not machine-made, handmade. And they had their workers use the radiation. They took the radiation and put them into the watches, okay, and then they would seal up the watches. The problem was they didn't realize that radioactive material such as radium would kill you. So people would actually wear it as face paint as well after they were done sealing the watches, and then all of a sudden their jaws and their teeth would fall out, and things wouldn't end up so well from there.
Oh, that's not too bad, right?
No.
Worst things can happen.
Yeah, and they found out these things did last for like 50 years, the radiation, but you don't want any radiation on your body, so they did away with radiation.
This thing has stilled it up pretty good.
Oh, yeah. It goes for quite a while.
Oh, this will be going until at least the end of the episode.
I would hope so.
We'll see you guys next week, and this thing will still be loomed.
What happened after radium? Radium pretty much disappeared by the 1960s. What replaced it were two different types of luminova, which was the superluminova, which came around the 1990s, but even before that, it was tritium, which are gas tubes. I'm going to let Jared go in a little bit more about what tritium actually is.
All right, tritium is not very radioactive at all. There is the smallest amount, not enough to cause any sort of terrible cancer or any sort of other health effects that radium did back when Ingersoll started using them. But what they are is they're small, tiny little gas tubes, like, 1 to 3 millimeters thick. It's like barely anything. And the companies just, attach them to the dials and to the hands. They're fairly lightweight and things like that, but their presence is huge. They stay good. The life of them is, they say 25 years. I guess sometimes they could go a little longer, but the watch, if you guys ever want to research it, go to ballwatch.com, B-A-L-L, just like a bouncing ball or anything like that. Their watches are great. Now, there's a however to this, as Drew already knows because he got one, and I'm going to preface it with this. They are a great company. The however is that not all, some to most, not all of their watches feature that great tritium gas tube in all their dials in their hands. So not all of them light up fantastic. Some of them just have like little dots, and they stay lit for a little bit, but they're not even as good as this quorum is, to be honest with you. So they've been around for like a long time. That's what Ball is known for. Tritium is very safe. It's long-lasting, effective. However, again, after the 25 years, you're going to have to replace the tritium tubes. Now, if you're like in a room like this, let's just turn off the lights for a quick second, completely. So now you can obviously, hopefully, still see this thing lit up on the camera. I mean, we could see it, but I don't know if you guys can.
Oh, yeah.
But right now it's completely dark. The Ball watch would light up this entire room just about with the lume, which is kind of crazy. So I'm going to put this back on for a second. But that's the interesting thing with tritium tubes. I think other companies do use them. I'm not 100% sure because I've not done my research. But
and
Ball
they
is
do.
more of a
I actually
pioneer.
did do my research on it.
Okay.
And if you want to actually a company that is much less expensive, and believe it or not, they're not known for watches, and you can get them for under $100, okay? And they use the same tritium tubes that Ball does. And usually Ball watches run between $1,000 and $2,000, usually in that medium range.
They're relatively fair priced for the brand, for what they offer and things like that. But
if you want one that's $100 or less, very affordable, economical, believe it or not, Smith & Wesson.
Is this quartz or automatic?
Both.
Both?
They make both automatic and quartz. Smith & Wesson, under
they
$100.
use
They use tritium tubes.
Tritium
And
tubes.
another company, a Japanese company called Carnival, also uses tritium tubes.
Automatic or quartz?
Both. So you can get either of them, both in automatic and in quartz. Different price points they have, and they're water resistance to the hilt as well. And they're very, very affordable. But again, with most tritium tubes, they don't last as long as Ball. They usually say the tritium tube's going to last around 12 years. Like especially with Smith & Wesson and that.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah,
for
if you can get them up to
under,
25,
way under price to even still last 12 years, which is half. It's
typically
not
on
even half the
tritium
price. That's
tubes,
amazing.
12 years is about half the life. So yeah, 25 would be about right.
And now again, don't forget that tritium, however you want to pronounce it. I mean, it literally stays lit 24 hours a day. I mean, battery never runs out on it. There's no like electric pulse going to it. It's strictly based off of exposure to light. Kind of like a solar watch would be, with a battery or whatever it is. And, obviously the tritium just lasts a lot longer. But, I mean, literally, it just stays lit. It does not go out. Like, if you wear the watch to sleep or right next to your bed, it's going to light stuff up, for sure.
Pretty much. Yeah. Tritium is a great gas. It's pretty safe, like Jared said.
Yeah.
However, it is not the main version of luminescence that's used in the watch market these days.
The best, hottest thing. It's been used for a while, and it's still. I think it's still cheaper.
Early '90s, it came. They really perfected this.
Super Luminova is
Luminova,
unreal.
Which is something that, like I said,
which you guys can still hopefully see. And,
okay.
And this is only a few seconds exposure to good light. I mean, imagine on the beach all day and then at night, your wrist is going to stay lit for 10, 12 hours at least.
All the major companies use it. You got Breitling, you got Rolex, you got Omega, you got Oris, you got Corum.
A lot of divers watches.
A lot of divers. Rolex is known for the divers watches. They light up the sky. So I mean, but that's basically any divers watch is going to use super luminova.
But I do think Ball Watch has the brightest watches, though. I think
they do. They do, but they only last for a certain period of time. Super luminova will outlast.
Yeah.
The actual Tritium 2
as long as you don't like damage the watch, you get water in or something.
Correct.
Absolutely. Will.
Correct. And that's basically what's out there. They come all different price points. We just wanted to give you a little overview on what luminescence is and how it worked. And
honestly, it's helpful to have.
What super luminova is, it's actually a paint. Okay, and when you put the light to it, it glows.
This thing's still going.
It's exactly what it does. It's just a paint that they put on. So instead of fooling around with radioactive material, which they didn't know earlier in the last century...
It's kind of like smoking back in like the 40s and 50s.
Right, exactly. You know? Exactly. They just said, you know what, let's try a safe paint and see if that works, and it glows. And
it just had to take a few draws to drop off to realize that.
Yeah, a lot of innovations come from the military.
One of the things you didn't mention, I know you told this to me earlier, and I want you to tell everybody at home, how long did they continue to use that in the watches for? This is a fun fact he kind of left out, and this was surprising to me.
Those radioactive materials, they were using up to the 1950s, 1960s before they realized there was something wrong.
That's 50 to 60 years. That's insanity right there.
It was pretty nuts. I felt really bad for the people who put those watches together to be exposed to that high-level amount of radiation. It was really a problem. And thank God that technology has come along. See, technology can be good and bad. Sometimes you invent technology and you don't know what the side effects are until much later in life. So, luminescence has a very deadly history on how it got to where it is today, but thank God now, as far as we know, it's safe. And
I feel like the watch is going to outlast this flashlight with the light. Oh my God.
It probably will. But we thank you for joining us today on our Luminescence episode.
Wait, do we have any preview into what next episode is going to be or no?
Well, again, guys, always text us, email us, log us, do whatever you want.
Yeah. Email us, send the comments in. We always want to hear from you guys. Ask any questions. No question is like too stupid or dumb. Listen, I work in teaching, and I say that's like my mantra, okay?
Wait until you see this Q&A episode we have lined up for you with phone-in calls.
Do you think we're going to do it next week?
I don't know if we're going to do it next week, but it is coming up. Keep it on your calendars for that, because this is going to be an interesting episode.
Maybe we'll do it like in May or something like that, or whatever it is.
Sometime in May, probably.
Couple episodes before the Q&A.
And because we're going to also watch we'll have a couple beach episodes later on in the summer when we do some beach days as well, down in
and we will be shirts off, okay? Not robes, shirts off, baby.
Oh, yeah. It all comes off. Oh, watch out.
Listen, we thought we got 2,500 views with the bathrobes. Imagine what's going to happen with shirts off. I expect that to double.
Oh, God. That
should
be interesting.
I don't know.
But we do thank you again for joining us for our wonderful Luminescence episode.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and do everything. And, I have a good way to go out today. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
See you next time on It's About Time.